International Paparazzi Imaging and Films. Welcome back to the Vignette podcast. This is episode 23, and we have special guest Jayme Cheney, a three-time pro champ, team manager for Boss Racing. We're excited to have him on the podcast. So welcome, Jayme.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after the 2 times filming before this. Yeah.
Damn batteries.
I know. Technology,
Yeah.
it's unpredictable. But, so yeah, what do you, let's start off with what you're doing nowadays.
Oh, what am I doing? That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, I got into moto. Been helping a lot of young kids, doing a lot of engines, chassis, helping set up. Been to a few races and stuff, so I've been pretty busy doing that. I'm surprised. I started helping just a couple people, and the word got out, and been pretty steady. It's been fun. Change of pace. So yeah, I'm kind of liking it.
Liking it a lot better than snowcross?
It's warmer.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, I was down in Oklahoma for a while, but man, there were certain times I was like, Jesus, this is cold. But yeah, it's been fun. So I'm going to keep it going for a while.
Nice. So I guess aside from that, let's kind of talk about, the rich history with racing with you and how you got started. I see that you, going back through your catalog, that you raced jet skis and you're 6-time pro champ.
Yep.
World champ. So how did you get into jet ski racing?
So my family roots are deep into racing. My grandma and grandpa had a Harley dealership, Yamaha, down South Dakota and then Iowa. So they ended up in Iowa, and my uncle builds frames, flat track frames, and my dad was a big flat track racer, so that was huge. But growing up, we had a dealership, so you're selling Ski-Doo, Sea-Doo, and Easy-Go golf cars, so pretty heavily into that, and was racing some dirt bike, and then my dad was like, well, let's try some jet ski racing and snowmobile racing. We're selling that stuff, so I had to pretty much slow down on the motocross stuff, and Dad took me to a couple races, and I'm like, man, doing good. So jet ski wise, so we started going with that, started going to some big races, and did damn good, and just kept going with it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the snowmobile stuff, that went pretty well too. I started in like 96 or 7 up at Spirit Mountain, got second in semi-pro open.
That was WSA days, right?
WSA days. And then Tom Rager Sr. Started helping me. He was the race director at the time for Ski-Doo. He was a good friend of my dad's. He was, when my dad was, while being a dealer, I think Tom was doing some, like a service writer or something. I can't remember how my dad exactly met him, but we used to race grass drags a lot too, so we met them guys through that also, and had a good relationship. And yeah, Tom started helping me and started hitting that pretty heavy. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sick. I guess having the dealership was kind of an advantage, right?
Yeah, it was. We were a pretty big dealer too. I think that one year we sold, like, at that time, 200 new sleds, so we were one of the top dealers in the nation. Yeah, that's where I learned a lot. Mechanicking. I didn't go to any mechanic schools. It was the old working in the dealership.
Yeah.
All my buddies after school would going and doing cool things, I thought, and I had to go to the dealership. So, yeah, that was fun. Working on brand new sleds, obviously, and the jet ski stuff. We started selling them too. We were a little later on that. I think my dad started in like 88 on the sleds, 1988 as a Ski-Doo dealer. But Sea-Doo wasn't until like 06 or 96 or 97. And we started selling them.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was good.
Dang.
Yeah.
So it is pretty deep in the history.
Yep.
Wow. And then talk more about the jet ski racing, because I'm really intrigued in that. My dad raced jet skis for a hot second. When I walked into your garage, I saw the 750. My dad had the same exact one. And he raced X2s, but you did mostly stand-up stuff, right?
Yeah, no, runabout.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So to sit down, yeah.
Okay.
So Sea-Doo, I rode Kawasaki 1 year for a team, but mainly all Sea-Doo. So it'd been like on the 800 side of it, it would have been like the XP 800. I came out in like 96. That was like the hot one to have back in the day. Mm-hmm. And then I did end up running 1200 too on a Sea-Doo. So yeah, the jet ski stuff started, I want to say my dad took me up to Winnipeg or up by Winnipeg, Beaugier, and there was a jet ski race. He's like, hey,
Oh, that's where they do the ice
oval.
ovals. Yeah.
Yep. So I raced in the middle of that.
Get out of here.
Oh, it was fucking crazy.
Dang.
Dude, like the track was so small, so I mean, like boats would get hit and shoot up on the beach. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I ended up winning that, and they had some really cool trophy, this big ass traveling trophy, and it was so cool. And they put your name on it. I wonder where it is this day, but there was a whole bunch of names. So I had this trophy was special. I just don't remember for what totally. It had a lot of different meanings than just jet ski racing. So maybe it's sitting up there still. That'd be kind of cool to see it, but. Yeah, so we went there and did really well, and then Minnesota started to have some races, and it was can't remember if it was MRP or what it was, but a lot of the snowcross and cross country guys were doing it, like Todd Wolf, and there was a few other ones. So I started racing that and did really well at that, and then we started to hear about this World Championship in Lake Havasu, and you had to go to pick a region and run 3 of them races and finish in like the top 5 or 7, and then you could go to the world finals. At that time, it was so big, it was like Loretta Lynn's.
Almost a qualifier.
Yeah, there was 8 or 12 regions, and they took a certain amount per classes, and then you get to go to the world finals, and then try to qualify into the 2 motos. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we started doing that, and man, right away I did good. I think the second year I was there, I got second. And then a year or 2 later, I won my first world championship, and then 2 the next year, and then 1 the next year after that. And then I think the last one was like in 14. And then the last time I raced there, I got 3rd in 18. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Geez, 10 years since you lost your, won your last championship.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
And then there was national championships. That was out in Nashville. That was super fun too. That would always be like the weekend after Loretta's. It was usually the second week in August, and we would go race that, and that was a blast too. And it was cool because you'd race people from California, Arizona, New York. I mean, they're all over the world. Place. The World Finals was awesome because Thailand, Japan, Kuwait.
What?
Yeah, lots of countries representing. It was pretty big for a while back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the same time that snowmobile racing was getting big.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So what was the average like cost of, like, let's say your champion jet ski? How much was it to build a championship jet ski like you had?
They had 2 different classes at the time, limited, which was not as many modifications. So you could, an XP back then was about $4,500. You have about 10 grand into it, 15 tops. But then you go to super stock where it's basically full mod. I mean, MSD, total loss, everything you can think of. You're up around that 15 to 25,000, and then it just gets worse. Then you go to 1200 cc where you got triple cylinder. I mean, then you're talking 45 to 50, and then it all changed to 4-stroke, and then it's way out of control. Mm-hmm. Carbon fiber, complete like them big Sea-Doo 4-strokes. And the Yamaha, it's a carbon fiber hull, so you're taking about 150 pounds, 200 pounds off the whole machine there, and then you're adding 600 horsepower, turbocharging them. It's insane.
That's insane. A turbocharged
Fast.
jet ski?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, way fast. Now they're doing them to the stand-ups. That's freaking crazy. If you guys ever watch Supercross, that KTM rider, Juju?
Yeah, Beaumer.
So his dad was a legendary builder from France, and he moved to Lake Havasu and started building a lot of race boats. So he grew up jet ski racing. Mm-hmm. But I think if you hear in one of his interviews, he said they're so damn fast.
Yeah.
But he was really good too at jet skis, but I guess picked the motocross. Pretty sweet. Good call on that one, because man, there ain't no money in jet ski racing anymore.
Yeah, but it seems like it's a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather do? Jump a jet ski or hit a big triple?
A moto.
Yeah. Of course you would.
Yeah.
Of course you would. But that's pretty rad. I don't know many people that race jet skis that are like involved in snowcross, or like me personally, besides, like I said, my dad. Yeah. And I know a couple freestyle guys out of Minnesota, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I did see a while back, I think, like Bobby LePage.
Yeah, he does race.
Yep,
No,
he runs a
you're right.
stand-up. One of the last races I ever went to was out in Wisconsin, maybe a couple years back. I ran
This
it.
video is brought to you by our great friends at CNA Pro Skis. Whether you're looking for a ski in the mountains, trail, watercross, snowcross, or any other application in the wintertime, hit up caproskis.net, grab yourself a set of skis, and now back to the podcast.
Into him there. Otherwise, yeah, not too many other people dabbled into that. So
Speaking of which, he did the plus 30 at Duluth
yeah,
with Thien.
heck yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what he placed. I think it was like top 5 maybe, but it was pretty.
Still pretty good. You know, when them guys come back and go to that race and they seen that track, I bet they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, what am I in for now?
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and even like we were talking earlier, scrap iron.
Yeah.
You know?
To see scrap iron out there, oh my God. Mm-hmm. I remember the notorious number 100. When I first seen him, I'm like, look at this guy. And he had a big 100 under his belly pan. And he just launched stuff. I wonder why they called him scrap iron.
Yeah, right.
Just explode. He was pretty fast back in the day, though. I did watch him win a pro national, which blew my mind at Duluth.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite track.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think he was driving the semi. I think he was the semi driver because Blair had a couple semis, 2, maybe 3 at the time. Because remember they had all them young kids coming up like Turcotte, Kunish, and Willie Elam. There was a little pack of kids that were super fast that Blair kind of, was helping.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Reimer ran one of the semis in the race and he won Pro Open. Yeah, someone's got to ask him that.
Wow.
If you ever get him on, ask him that.
Oh, I definitely will. He's all the way up in Canada. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a phone podcast with him. But yeah, either way, I did a short little phone interview with him at Duluth before the weekend, and it was just cool to like interact with a guy that was, a big time at the time that he was racing. That was like cool, and it was like a nostalgia kind of thing too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to do one with LePage, but I just never got. I was too busy. I do so much, but yeah. Either way, it'd be cool to see more guys come out of retirement and race at plus 30.
Yeah, it would. There's still a lot of riders that are pretty quick. That class, might be surprised. Be a little more entries in the pro class.
I find it more interesting to watch the Pro 30 guys in the pro class sometimes.
Yeah.
No, not knocking pro class because those guys are gnarly. But,
oh yeah, for sure.
But Pro 30 has been definitely a class to watch.
The first couple laps, that pace is pretty fast. I was like, man, Danny Delecki getting some starts and ripping out there, and Corn Todd, look at how he's railing.
Won the championship.
Adam Johnson, he used to be a really fast pro light rider. I think I had a kid back in the day, who was it? Oh, Johnstead. And him would battle.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool to see him still out there. Johnson. It's pretty sweet.
Johnstead.
Yep. Andrew Johnstead. And then there was James Johnstead. That was his younger brother. James, I think, went on to race for Judnick for a little while.
Yeah, he raced pro, didn't he?
Never went up pro. Yeah, pro light, and then he ended. Yep. So yeah. Interesting.
Very cool stuff. But you yourself, you got a lot of history too. You got besides jet ski racing, you're like I said, the 3-time pro title champion with L.A. Sechul. Kind of like, how was that for you, winning 3 titles with him?
It's pretty awesome. Looking back before he rode for us, I watched him quite a bit, and the kid had some incredible speed. Mm-hmm. And I always just thought, man, if somebody could just tame him down, control him a little bit.
That's where you came into the picture.
Yeah. Well, I watched it, and, I was able to do that. It was pretty awesome. Elias is, great kid. Great kid. You just, I just watched him, even when he started to ride for us, I learned everything about him so quick. So I was able to get him everything he needed. And that was a big thing. Put the team together right, with Gary allowing it all to happen too. That was awesome. Everyone gelled so good. Mm-hmm. It was an unbelievable team, Everybody talks about, the 68 team, but That 200 team for 3 years might have been one of the most incredible things for 3 years, you know, when you really think about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why everyone always talks, oh, who's the best rider? Oh, Tucker's the best, or Blair. Well, they're all so damn good. It'd be just amazing if you could put them all in that same year once.
I
When
know.
they're all three at their top.
Yeah, imagine
I
if Tucker didn't retire in 18
man.
and went for another year.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened?
You know, Tucker was still, that year he won the championship, was really fast. But these other guys were starting to really pick their speed up too. And the thing I always noticed when Tucker was winning them championships, that he outthought everybody. He outdrove everybody. All them other guys, I mean, Ross was really good. Tim Tremblay was really good. But Tucker, man, he just...
It was calculated.
so calculated.
Yeah.
And just... them other guys, you know, there was only one or two that could really run that speed for 3/4 of the race. And then after that, they were stuck in their... They'd still maybe be running their speed, but Tucker just find that second gear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, after that, a couple of them other riders were starting to be able to run that pace longer. So it's hard to say what would happen. I mean, I don't know. I think Tucker could have still came out on the top, but I think it would have been tougher. It was only going to get tougher because, you know, our field and pro is really light, but man, they're all fast and they all can run right to the end. So, yeah.
And I think the advantage with Tucker is he always had a good start.
Yeah.
You know, which got him in front very quickly, and he could just command the race. Where, like, my point of view, I think if it would have happened with Elias, I think Elias would have been there with him, and he would have been slamming stuff more so than Tucker does. You know, Tucker, he's smooth.
Yes.
Elias is short,
Yep.
where Tucker was tall, so Elias had to really maneuver the sled, and maybe, you know, put your point of view on it too. But I feel like taller riders ride sleds easier because they're more lengthy and they don't have to move the sled around, where a shorter guy, you have to manhandle the sled for it to, you know, be where you want it to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
they're
know?
definitely two totally opposites. You know, Tucker, super smooth, can hang off the snowmobile,
Right.
turn the snowmobile. Obviously, the Arctic Cat turns good.
Yeah.
And I was with it for 2 years, and that was the first thing. I'm like, oh my God, this sled turns.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, with Elias, he's strong, though.
Yeah.
Kid's a bulldog. Jesus, there's times he held on. I don't know how.
Right.
You know, but... So that was the thing. But the thing with Elias, you know, holding on and smashing into that stuff, he didn't get tired. You know, he'd get off after that final, and he still had a lot left in him. So, yeah, it would have been really interesting watching them. And I think you throw Blair Morgan into it.
Yeah.
Some of the most epic battles were Blair and Tucker. And no matter where they started, I'd watch one of them start up front and one start in like 10th.
Yep.
They'd find each other.
Yeah.
Dude, it was some pretty amazing stuff.
That was an incredible era.
It was.
Yeah.
You know, when I raced for quite a while. I obviously with Tucker and in pro light, or was semi-pro back then. But then when I turned pro and I was able to follow Blair, there's lines that I can't even believe he could find. It was just unbelievable. And you're just like a half a ski off. It was pretty awesome.
Who would you consider like the GOAT? Like, not being in your position of like winning, like looking from the outside in, and if you weren't in the team manager position, winning 3 championships with Elias, who would you say was the GOAT of snowcross?
I'd have to say Tucker Hibbert. You know, with the amount of wins, championships, I would have to say Tucker.
Yeah.
You know, Tucker had a long run and stayed pretty healthy most of it. You know, so, yeah, I'd have to say Tucker Hibbert.
Even with the crazy handlebar incident at Salamanca?
That was unbelievable. Yeah. No, that was Shakopee.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Shakopee when he broke it? Is that
But
the one you're
but
talking?
something happened at Salamanca too. I thought he broke a handlebar.
Well, the one time I remember in that final, in the first turn, he crashed.
It might be Canterbury. You might be right.
Yeah, because I was standing there. I think Springer rode for me at the time. Tucker crashed, got over to the sled, looked down, and I think pretty sure the handlebar was broke, throttle side. And I thought he looked back at his like dad over there, and I don't know if he said get on the sled and go, or but Tucker got on it and rode that snowmobile with the throttle in his right here.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. He passed the rider I had. I couldn't even believe it. I didn't know what to say when I got back to the trailer, except just got beat by one hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was shock B. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there was another incident in 1890. No, it wasn't 1819. It was 1718, I want to say. He had another incident. It was when they went over to the other side of the casino at New York, and something happened to his sled, but then he came back and won it. If I'm
that one, that's hard.
mistaken, I don't remember.
Can't quite remember on that one.
Me neither.
Not sure.
But or maybe Logan won it. I don't remember. I have to go back and look. All I can see is what I filmed that night as him being on the side by the start. But yeah, everything else is kind of lost.
Yeah, I mean, he had some unbelievable races. The one in Deadwood was amazing.
Oh, when he came back all the way from dead last.
I mean, him and
Lap riders.
Yeah, he almost had the start and then like tipped over in that far corner. Mm-hmm. It was pretty awesome because he looks like he gets up, brushes himself off, starts going, and was it Ross? Didn't he catch Ross and pass him right at the end?
It was either Ross or Kyle Pauline. I know it was a Polaris rider.
Them guys were trying to haul ass. I mean, they were hauling ass up front.
Yeah, they were doing it. Wasn't there that wall jump?
Yeah, jumping over it.
Yeah.
And here comes Tucker.
Yep.
Just hopping around like a little rabbit. I was like, Jesus.
Like a little rabbit.
That's probably one of the, I'd rate that as number one.
And that was when he won the 100th, right? Was it that year? I don't think it was that night, but it was.
He won the 100th at.
It was at Deadwood.
At Deadwood.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was that year. It might have been a year later. Hard to say.
But still, dude,
pretty awesome.
An incredible snowcross racer.
Yeah.
Even watching him ride moto too, he was good.
Yeah.
You know?
I watched him and Cam a few times at Nationals. Actually, one time at Redbud, we were at a buddy's lake, and it was going on that 4th of July. So me, my wife, and little guy ran down there, and I think Rasta, a good buddy of mine, Rasta, was helping Tucker out, and yeah, I was surprised. They both ran really good. I think Cam on a 250 was running top 20, and Tucker had a really good pace too. So that was really impressive to see.
And Tucker was on a 250 as well.
He was on a 450.
450.
Yep.
All black.
I watched
Honda,
him at Millville. What was it? The first year when we did the cat deal, we went to the feature race maybe down in Millville, and Tucker was with Anson and Benham and them, and dude, he was flying still on the bike, and I don't think he'd been on it very long.
This was when you went to All Finish?
Yeah.
He was still racing moto?
He went and raced a couple, yeah. It was that late fall.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched him. He was going really good.
I did not know that. I thought he kind of hung the boots up on everything.
Yeah, I think he was going to maybe do a little comeback, but I thought Aaron was maybe talking about that, but then I don't think that next year he did even get on a bike. I kind of heard, but hard to say. But no, really good on that too. He had a little run in Supercross, if I remember right, too.
He did. Our buddy, the Carby podcast, did podcast with him, and he was saying that he had an opportunity to do snow, but then he also had the opportunity to do Supercross, and he's like, I want to do one or the other, but I want to do snow because there's really more potential over there, and I don't think he had to work as hard or something like that, or he had a better opportunity with Cat because they were like, Cat was going after him so hard. Yeah. But I know that he had the opportunity to do both.
Yeah, with the amount of wins he's got on snow, I want to say there was a couple years that he only did the beginning of the season on snow and then ran X Games and then went to Supercross possibly. Mm-hmm. And I think there was actually one year he completely took everything off but X Games. I don't think he made the final that year at X. Pretty sure he tipped over or something weird. Then he went back to Supercross, I think.
Was that when he got together with, Cam on the start?
Yeah. It's so hard to remember all that.
I know, right?
But yeah, I remember.
All the years mash up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, the rich history in snowcross is amazing, to say the least.
Yeah, it is.
But back to you, kind of want to touch on the all finished deal, and then your side of the story. That was a huge operation. I remember hearing, little things inside the industry saying, there's a big team coming. They're going to be doing it big, and they're going to be Articat, and it was going to help out the sport a lot, and this guy was investing a lot of money to have a top tier team, and obviously the rumors are true. Chad came in big, and I don't know, would you call it a success, because he did win a race with Benham at Fargo, but how would you summarize the 2 years with all finish?
I wouldn't say success, but we worked damn hard at it, and we did good. We just didn't do as good as, we all knew we could do. But so that whole deal was, obviously it was put together well before I went there. I ended that season winning our third championship, and there was just some things going on. And then I got an opportunity to come back to Fargo, to be with my family and run a team out of Fargo. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I'm like, man, that's, maybe I should do that. It'd be awesome to get back here with being with the family and stuff. So ended up doing that deal. And it was with Articat, and it was really tough because I was coming from like Skidoo and obviously being with Polaris too, where parts weren't a problem. Getting sleds early weren't a problem. Mm-hmm. We had everything against us. We got our sleds really late. The thing that helped us our first year is I want to say Chad had a couple year-old sleds that were virtually fresh. So we started the boys out on them. But we just always started behind the ball. And it's very tough in snowcross. When you start behind the ball, you never get in front of it.
Right.
It's really complicated. That's why I always shoot for, when you go to Duluth, you need to have everything perfect and then just ride it out.
Right.
You go do your testing and stuff, but coming into Duluth,
you need to have
everything absolutely perfect. It happens so quick once the season starts that if you have anything go wrong, it's really complicated to pick it up and move forward. So, but anyways, we and
I'm sure that was a hard pill for you to swallow with Articat, kind of not getting you what you needed because you're always ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Prepped and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And nothing on Articat. I don't think they were in the situation or had the stuff even built to give us.
Right.
I think if they would, they definitely seen what the team was putting in, but there was nothing. There was no product. There was no sleds until a certain time, and parts were still really tough to come by. Yeah,
that was the year of what, COVID?
It was just after.
Yeah.
But we also had, riders. We had a lot of riders, and it's good and bad. It's good because we're fielding more riders. We got more kids and pros ripping around, but it's very complicated. You have to have a lot more crew, parts, sleds. So, it's really tough. But we tried our best. I mean, we had the sleds going good.
Right.
I think the second year was the toughest year because they had a manufacturer change on the crankshaft, so it was really tough to get that thing to run. And I'm really used to a snowmobile turning good RPM like a Polaris and a Skidoo, where these things are a trail motor. They're not designed for high RPM revving, and
right.
So it was tough. They're pulling down in the holes, and you start revving them. There's no power, so we had a lot of different things against us, but we worked as hard as we could and did decent.
Yeah.
But
how many podiums? 3?
Oh, we had a lot more than that. Yeah. So we had the one win, but I want to say Dan had, I think the one year we had 10 between Jake and Dan. And then Dan the next year had 5 or 6. So it was good. I mean, we would get some thirds, seconds.
Yeah.
But just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ain't winning, I guess it's not good enough, right? What does Ricky Bobby's dad say? If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you guys were in the position of having the new catalyst, right? Did you guys at least ride it?
Yeah, we did test it a couple times. It just wasn't prepared for snowcross.
Yeah, was it more trail and cross country sled?
Yep.
I heard the skid wasn't able to hold up to the abuse.
Yeah, the skid. It definitely needed, it was going to need a lot more work. It was going to need some engineers to just 100% focus on that for snowcross, which wasn't going to be able to happen. Obviously, Cat needed to focus on the catalyst for cross country for sales. You know, if they aren't selling sleds, we're not going racing.
Yeah.
So
Very
it
true.
was going to be a big battle. I don't know when you'll see it. I'm not even sure if you'll see it ever. Hard to say, but that's just my thoughts.
We're only going to see it in cross country.
That's the way I feel, but unless they really get a team together and get it developed so it can go through the holes it needs to and not break. So you'll have to see. I'm not sure what'll happen.
I hope it comes to fruition because I think it would be a good turning point for Cat.
Absolutely, yeah.
From just a manufacturer standpoint and a development standpoint to say that, Cat's here, we're going to continue to develop new sleds and be in the realm of snowcross and competitive racing, because really the sled that you were a part of that Tucker built has been 7 years old?
Yeah.
So it's like the sled's kind of dated.
It's very dated.
And not getting a new crank or having a different manufacturer to build the crank. I know that they had a different piston manufacturer when Tuggart was on Arctic Cat, or when was dominating. They had Suzuki pistons and cylinders and stuff.
The Suzuki motor for sure was their strong point, but when they separated from that, it was a bit of a disadvantage for sure.
Yeah.
Because the right motor was not developed for it,
right,
compared to what the Suzuki was. Suzuki definitely had torque and power compared to what they ended up getting. Right.
So I don't know, from a media standpoint, I think it would be good if they even if they released it and was like, this is a prototype, we're just testing it to get it to where it needs to be, make the parts that aren't strong enough for snowcross strong, so then at least you can have it on the track.
Yeah, and that is something maybe as small as this is getting, they might have to come to an agreement like that. And maybe not let's go back and say if we had Dan and Jake, maybe put one of them on it, and then the other one on the race product that we have right now, or pull another rider that is pro material, but maybe not one of your top guys, and have him ride it. Right. Because you can go around a practice track 200 times, but you do a pro final, you can't replicate that. Right. Not even close. Right. So.
Not even if you're chasing somebody.
No, not even close. Not even close. So, yeah, it's hard to say what'll happen. The Cat itself, the way it was, it just needed some refinements. It needs a new primary clutch. It needs a new pipe. That'd be amazing. There's a lot of stuff left on the table, HP left on the table because of that pipe. So there's things they could do.
Just from an expansion standpoint or chamber?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe they take the race sled they have now and fit that plastic on it.
That's what Polaris did with the IQR.
You're onto something here. So that could be something too, because people can bullshit me all day long, but snowcross definitely helps production snowmobiles.
Yeah,
absolutely it does. So I think that a lot of that could be done. You could put that plastic on. It looks like a catalyst. It's got virtually a catalyst skid, with some refinement and stuff. So maybe that's the direction you move into instead of coming out with straight up the catalyst with the belt drive. I mean, right. Let's get serious here. That belt drive's never going to work. You can keep trying, but no way. Not in snowcross racing.
And didn't Polaris and Skidoo change over from belt or
No, they never had it.
No? I thought
the Polaris on the mod sleds back in the day had that chain.
Yeah.
They had a motorcycle chain. I can't remember. It was like a 415 or what it was, but that was a pretty cool little system. But but the chain case and slipper gear, I mean, that's what you need. But a belt drive, that's really tough. Try to keep a little belt like that. It's hard enough to keep the primary belt, let alone a chain case.
Yeah, no
Holy
kidding.
smokes.
Yeah,
I understand mountain riding and cross country. Even the guys just banging down the ditch, they're not putting it through the test like a snowcross sled. So
Why don't like a factory manufacturer have somebody like you in house to where you're seasoned, you've seen all this, and like come in and develop what the ideal snowcross sled should look like Tucker did, because that 17 sled was a Tucker sled, right?
Yeah.
You know, that was designed by him.
Yep.
So why not have somebody of your caliber come in and be like, hey, we need you. We need your input. We want to make this sled better, and you're the type of guy that can do it, you know?
Well, I think there's a few other guys out there too. Like,
I'm just saying, like, smart
well, I'm just saying,
people.
but there's a couple other from the snowcross side that could definitely do it too. That could make the sled better, but also you got to understand the engineers from the manufacturers. They pay.
Yeah.
They're high paid engineers that should be doing this.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But an engineer with a guy that's in race, you know, in the scene
For
could.
sure, that would definitely help the program.
Let's say, okay, so a name that pops into my head is Danny Poirier.
Yep.
Pro. He's been through it, and he's a race engineer for the new Skidoo, you know? So he comes in, he's raced, he knows what's good, he knows what's bad, he knows what works, what doesn't. So why couldn't, I'm sure Polaris does the same thing, but why couldn't Arctic?
And they could.
You know?
Look at what they have done. Look at the Skidoo platform.
Yeah.
Thing is awesome.
It is.
That thing was
freaking
awesome
dominating.
when we won the 3 championships. The thing was incredibly good. It's only got better.
Yeah. And they're only doing one tweak a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, like, going back to what you said, Cat could do something like that. But they won't do something like that. They're just not in the position to do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not beating on them. I'm
Right.
just saying it's very complicated right now to try to move forward with building a new sled.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure.
But if we want this to keep going, stuff's got to change. I think that's what I find in the industry. Everyone's so scared for change. It's
Why?
like, come on. I don't know. It's like nobody wants to go off the path a little bit. They want to keep it the way it is. Good old boys club, you know. It's time for change. If we want this to go anywhere and keep going, it definitely, there needs to be change all the way across the board though.
Yeah.
Organization, everywhere.
Right.
It needs a cleaning.
For sure.
So.
For sure. And how was it when you were on pro sleds, like pro open sleds, mod sleds?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but I think it kind of got a little wild.
And I'm not going to say what's your take on bringing back pro mods, because it's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. But maybe back in the day when it was happening, we could have worked tighter with each manufacturer on what we're doing in the mod category that could help produce the production sled or make the production sled better. You know,
You don't feel like they're doing that now?
yeah. But I'm saying if everyone's saying, well, bring the mods back, well, maybe the mods would still be here if we worked harder when we had the mods to build better stuff for the production sled. Because when they were mods, Jesus, we were cutting them chassis up. It was insane. It was actually pretty stupid. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the year, that sled wasn't worth anything. It was so haggard and chopped up.
Yeah.
It was cool, though. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure it sold a shit ton of sleds.
I don't know. Once we got away from mods, man, mid-season, our sleds were already all sold, people standing in line. But when they were mods, when we'd sell one, they weren't getting any of the good stuff.
No, of course not.
We were taking everything trick, hiding it in a box on a shelf.
Going trying to use it for next year.
Yeah, so I don't know, that whole mod thing. Yes, it was cool. No, it won't ever come back, but
What if, and I'm gonna beat the dead horse on this one, but what if like going back from taking the mod era to the current era that we're in, and just doing get rid of the Y pipe, doing 2 pipes with a stinger, and then that's your modification. Maybe you do a little bit of a chassis change, but that's it. You can't do anything from the jugs to the fuel injection to anything. You know, you can only do a custom cone pipe to a stinger, you know, and then that would make the sled sound so much better from just having a 2 into 1 pipe and then having a freaking silencer on there that sounds like garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest with me.
Yeah.
Skidoos are freaking ear bleeders,
yeah,
man.
for sure.
To hear a pro open mod sled was like, I think cooler than hearing a freaking 1000 Hayabusa revving up.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing too, it's separated the classes, you know, pro light and pro as a headlight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that gets people really confused that the pro lights are on the same sled that a pro rider. But I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say there. That's ISR and ISOC and for them guys to figure out.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I do know our sleds today are definitely faster than our mod sleds.
You're not the only person to say that.
They definitely
I
are.
don't believe it for some odd
because
reason.
they're single pipe, fuel injected, instant power.
Yep.
Where the mod sleds, my mechanics would get pissed at me because they'd set the sled out getting ready to go up for round 1 and I'd scream, no, you got to throw a jet in it. We got to jet it up. I mean, the air just changed. All that stuff. This fuel injection's awesome. And it's allowing that motor to make maximum power all the time.
Right.
Where the carburetors are awesome as long as you're good like myself or someone really good with carburetors, that you're on that thing all the time.
Right.
Changing it here and there. But yeah, the Fuelie is amazing. So now you go back to the mods, throw fuel injection on a mod, then we're talking. But that's taken a whole...
But that would be current era meets old era, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you did throw a fuel injection on a mod sled, that thing would be insane.
It'd be pretty cool, yeah. Yeah.
That'd be insane. Because during the mod era, you did chassis, you did skid, you did exhaust motor work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way down to the bogey
God,
wheels.
Man, the mods were so crazy. We'd even drill the webbing, flip the cases over on the bottom. We're talking where the thick we drill holes. We're trying to drop every ounce we could. Which did it really work? I don't know. But yeah, the mod stuff got just super insane.
How much did a mod back in the day when you were wrenching cost?
I don't know if you could put a number on it because of the amount of time it took to build it. It just took so much time and one-off pieces and then trying to duplicate one-off pieces, and that's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you had a secondary piece and you broke something, you still had to modify that piece to get it on right. So yeah, I mean, you can say 30 grand. You can. It's hard to say. It's.
You got to have deep pocketbooks.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's like any form of racing that's any form of racing when you start modifying is very expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Very expensive.
For sure.
So.
Did you have a lot of fun in the mod era though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So you raced or you worked for Carlson in the mods? No, because he was in Pro Light.
So mod, yeah, well, Avalanche.
Yeah.
So we had full mod Polaris's, and then Boss, full mod Skidoos. When I went to Carlson, though, that was that whole mod chassis and pipes. You had to remain with the stock motor. You could change the head, but cylinders, crank cases had to be stock. Because that's when Polaris came out with the long stroke motor. We won the semi-pro championship with Andrew Johnstead with the long stroke. We won stock and semi-pro open. And then that next year, I remember Polaris saying, got to go back to the short stroke. There was a lot of problem with that motor. You know, it was creating a lot of detonation that top dead with the burn. So like on our mods, we'd cut the front of the piston and exit a little bit of heat out of there. And then had to start changing a little bit of the dome profile to get, get some of the heat out.
Yep.
But then I know like Bender and them guys, they all went to the short stroke motor. And then we're obsolete. You couldn't find any of that stuff. But I think in Arizona, like Crankworks was maybe making some stuff, or they're finding rods, they were at least getting motors together. So for a while there, I think like the Bender stuff and stuff, they had short stroke motors, but we still ran the long stroke. We found a lot of power with the long stroke. It was just hard to keep it alive.
Yeah,
and like a guy
that's a
like
big
Andrew
stroke.
Johnstead would chop the throttle a bit, so he was getting heat out of the motor. Where like Mike Schultz would come through the corner half throttle. He always loved to run it in the mid. Well, that's where it created most of the heat, and we detonate and chunk the front of the piston off. So
man.
it really relied on the rider too. So
Yep.
you're kind of band-aiding one for one guy, which sucks because you're making it you're leaving stuff on the table.
Yeah.
But then like Andrew, I could have her set up, ready to blow up, but it'd make it through the race. But it
Ready
had
to
maximum
blow.
power.
Yeah.
So-
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was a headache to say the least,
Yeah, it was.
but fun at the
But
same
fun,
time.
yeah. It's always fun when you're modifying shit.
And the budgets and stuff was like non-existent because there were so many players that were coming in to sponsor snowcross.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had Jimmy Johns with Boss, and I'm sure they forked up a lot of money. Where nowadays it's harder. It's getting harder and harder to fund a program. Even if you did have pro mods nowadays, I'm sure it would be so hard to do it because the funding's not there. But on the flip side, like my point of view is if we had pro mods nowadays, how many more people would be in the stands? How many more people that left snowcross because mods exited would there be? The fan base changed. If you go on comments, you go on any sort of video, any sort of social media, there's always going to be somebody that says, "Bring mods back." It's dead, but again, if there's that kind of following, how could that fan base not come back?
Yeah,
in today's era.
That's very, very tough. I know I always hear people, I don't go on social media much at all, but I always hear the people that bring mods back.
Yeah.
I know Alex, a tech guy, everyone's giving him
Freaking
shit and everything,
Alex.
but I don't know, I don't know if you can really say the mods are gone and it took away a fan base. I think it created more people bitching on social media. I think the fan base is dwindling down because there's not enough excitement in the sport anymore. I kind of feel.
Wouldn't you say that the mods were the exciting part though? Because it's like the main feature. You go to Supercross and you want to see Deegan or Jet or anybody in the 250 or 450. You want to see them battle and you want to see them go at it.
Well,
I'm not saying that you can't go at it in pro or pro light, but I'm just saying like the exciting part was taken away from snowcross a little bit.
The noise was taken away, but we still didn't have as many riders we needed. It was still
No.
pretty light.
Yeah,
So
that part's
I believe when we moved to the stock form, we had more competitiveness.
yeah, and there's
Because
less
now-
money.
And now
getting away.
you're not on a Bender mod or a Chaney mod when we were building them, or Shearing was building some mod. Now everyone's getting virtually the same stuff.
Yeah, whatever is coming out of the fabric.
Yeah, so now you can throw a blanket over damn near everything. Look at the first turn. In the mod days, for sure, there were sleds that would pull a length here and there every
Yeah.
once in a while, but now you got everyone getting there at almost the same time. So
It's
it's
all
up
about
to the
reaction,
rider.
yeah.
Reaction to rider. So that's tough to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this year, I was out of it this year. I watched almost everything. I know pretty much everything going on. Just needs to be a little more excitement, and I don't know what that means if it's venues or maybe ski hills are a little more exciting. I don't know. We got to do something though, because it's definitely thin.
Yeah. And
I don't have the
it's-
answer for that though.
I don't think anybody does
No.
because it's like it's such a small thing to talk about. Now, if there was like big investors coming in and making sure that every event, like, just going to throw this out there, Geneva, like, if we had investors to be like, hey, we're going to blow snow for 2 months while it's cold, so then we have a base, and then if it gets warm, at least we have, 5 feet of snow or whatever. I'm just speaking out loud here. But, like, maybe that's the approach to help bring snowcross back, is the branding and investing and kind of not going after the same sponsors that everybody else has, to where, all right, well, this team has, I don't know, Stud Boy, for example. Okay, how much money can we get from Stud Boy when they're already giving everybody else on the track so much,
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, what's the answer?
Yeah, it's very tough. And
I don't think
think
flow racing's the answer,
no,
because
And-
honestly, those aren't putting people in the seats.
no. But it's gaining exposure.
It is.
Look at X Games. There wasn't very many people. I shouldn't say that. There was a lot of people out there, but not for snowcross. But look what it did on TV.
Yeah.
It made snowcross.
Right.
But that's at the highest level at a wicked event.
Right.
Where they have to tune into it because they're watching a snowboard go, and then all of a sudden it drops to snowcross. Well, they're going to keep watching it because 15 minutes later it goes right back to their next event.
Yeah.
So maybe you got to do something like that. Get in with something like an extreme sport going on at a ski hill or something. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. But then you can't have all your sport races and all that.
Right.
It's very complicated. And I still got to give ISOC a ton of credit for trying to make snow this year. It was pretty crazy.
Absolutely. All the
But
applause.
it's tough. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I
think
really
more
don't.
media to get more eyeballs.
Yeah.
I think media is a huge thing.
Media always is, for sure. And I think digging up the old stuff, bringing some of that in so people can see where it came from
Yep.
and now what it is. It's still big. There's still tons of people in them pits. If you look at that, look at how many little trailers there are. Look at how many little kids are still looking up to the riders and want to be in a semi,
Right.
which it was great to see Kylo Racing show up in a fifth wheel and compete.
Yeah.
That can be done for sure.
Right.
I think I could do it out of a Sprinter.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think the organization, they really got to get some things figured out. Mm-hmm. I don't know what, it's not up to us, but.
So I've been pondering on this for a little while, okay, and kind of going back to the Tucker Hibbert thing. Tucker set himself outside the realm of, like, the normal fan, or what normal racers do. At every event, I when I was shooting in 17, I wanted his autograph with a poster. My dad was with me at Salamanca. I'm like, you get in that line, you give me a freaking autograph, because I don't know how long this dude's going to race. So after every single race, he had his own booth. Why don't racers self-promote themselves nowadays? I think that would help the sport. Because
Yep.
let's take Cody Cam, for example. If he has his own fan base, people still love him, and I'm not knocking anybody else, but if he had some sort of separate autograph or separate meet and greet or something after the races, I'm sure all the kids would gravitate towards him, or
Absolutely.
if Elias did it, or if, anybody else did it, like Emil now the pro champ, like, he set himself out from everybody else by doing that. You know what I mean? Even though he is the T-Train and the GOAT, but, like, he made sure it was all about the fans,
Yeah, I think a lot of that can be done. The one thing when Ross Martin retired, he had a big fan base. Mm-hmm.
Him and Tucker.
Well, I think Ross retired.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen him again.
In 15 or 16, wasn't it?
Never seen him again.
Yeah.
No involvement in snowcross.
Right.
None at all. Tim Tremblay retired. Incredible rider. Had a good fan base because he had the Great North following him. He come around a little bit.
Yeah.
Helped a few kids. Tucker retired. Haven't ever seen him.
No.
He had a huge fan base.
He still does, though.
Still does, but maybe these guys could still be at the track. you know,
See, and that's the thing,
could
too.
still have
Yeah.
a look at NASCAR. There's guys that have retired that still have huge, granted it's NASCAR,
Yeah.
but they have trailers with clothing and they're selling the shit out of it.
Right.
Dale Earnhardt's been dead since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, he's still got a big trailer there. Just saying, I mean, that would help.
Yeah.
You know, that I just see when people get done with snowcross, they're gone. They just leave,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I don't know if you can really say the same thing about moto or super, but like, who's a big name that won the championship? You can't really say Ryan Villopoto because everybody's involved. But,
Everybody's involved.
You know, in some shape, way, or form. But yeah, you're right. People that race snowcross kind of exit it and they don't do anything.
they don't,
you know, and
They could possibly do what a lot of the moto guys do. We don't have any training facilities going on or training these young kids coming up. There's a ton of kids that want to race snowmobiles.
Yeah.
But once they get to pro light, there's really nowhere for them to go.
well, and Tim Tremblay was actually training.
Yeah.
Emmerich
Yeah.
how do you say
Emmerich,
that?
and
Yeah.
then I think a couple other kids too, if I remember right. The one year I was
Blauen.
still at Boss. I know Tim was around a little bit.
Yeah. So and from their point of view, they say that there's just no money to do it, you know. And like looking at Robbie Balanowski, him being a team coach with Leighton is like that would bring in everybody that retired to give these newcomers knowledge to where is there the budget to do it though? I don't know. I don't know where you would find the money to do it. You would have to have some sort of outside sponsor, but like even if you did it at the fraction of what you were getting paid to race snowcross, still you're having some sort of involvement in snowcross to where it's like, oh well, we can go into Thien and see Tim Tremblay or you know anybody,
Yeah.
you know, like it could open some doors, you know. Or maybe they just
Yeah.
don't want anything
probably
to
don't.
do with it.
It is cold out, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
be outside. But I don't know, the moto, I've been around it quite a bit now, and obviously it's complicated to make money in moto. Very complicated. There's a ton of people doing it
Mm-hmm.
that definitely have a lot of money. But the training, I mean, you pick up 3 or 4 kids, all of a sudden you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And then you
make
do it
$1,000.
right. You don't come in and half-ass it, and you get progress out of this kid, and the parents see it. That's a home run.
Yeah.
Then they got trust in you and start believing, man, he might be able to make my kid even a little better yet here and there. So
Right.
it's there, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think going back to too, one thing, we don't have any household names. I mean, back in the day, I mean, Ross Martin,
Right.
Levi LaValle, all them names. The organization was building these names, using these names. You know, just don't hear it much anymore.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing now on the intermission. Or, I mean, not intermission, but the start. They're showing all the previous winners and stuff. That's awesome. Bringing in some of that, but like you go into a Ski-Doo dealership and you don't see anything on Elias winning 3, 4 championships, you know?
Right.
You're not seeing it. Maybe it's there too. I don't know. You know, it'll be interesting. Email Har won. Is players promoting it?
All you see is what you see on social media for that hot minute. You know, I saw one reel of him winning a championship, and that's it. You
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
there's really
Like, you know, you go back with Elias winning 4. It would have been cool if Ski-Doo would have had an 850 Elias replica or something.
okay.
You know?
You make a good point because I think it was the first year that he was with Thien, or maybe it was the second year. I don't know. It was one of the 2 years. It was at ERX. It was when he won the Ditch Banger National. I think he won it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won it. But they brought his Ditch Banger sled to ERX to have it on top of the drop gate. And I thought that was cool because then people are going to be like, oh, look at it. It's an old, MXZ up there. Like just having that
Yeah.
is cool in my eyes, because how many people are going to see an old freaking, old Ski-Doo with a
ZX
trailing
800,
arm?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he went and did opening ceremonies with that stuff,
Yeah, he
with
did,
that
that's
sled.
right.
So that's cool. And I think Snowcross needs to promote that. Bring back like the old shearing Polaris sled from the Polaris factory, or like Tim Tremblay's race sled, or have a trailer that carries all those sleds and just have them in the chalet or something like that. Like that's cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
It's just ideas. I don't know if any of it's going to happen, but it's like, that's the cool stuff. Nostalgia, like you're saying,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know what they got to do, but hopefully something.
Yeah,
They'll get
For
something figured out.
for sure. So kind of backing off on that whole topic, what's her future look like?
Moto for a while. We'll see. I'll be back in the game. I just don't know what level. Just gonna kind of see how some things unfold and kind of see how deep I want to go back into it.
Yeah.
So
You did snowcross for how many years? It's like 10, 12, 15,
I don't know.
40?
I might sound old, but yeah, it would have been Avalanche. I retired in 04 from racing, and the next year I was with Avalanche 4. So yeah, so that's. I'm not even gonna say because it's a lot.
Drop it in the comments.
It's a lot. No, it's been fun. It's been a blast. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I want to get into it at the level I was. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work,
Especially when you got a family,
yeah.
you know, and like it's 3 months out of the winter. Not saying that you don't like the cold or you hate, you know.
Well, I think what I do, I mean, I'm all in. I can't just do something half-ass. So, I mean, it's all summer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, trying to figure out how we can be better. And not even on the sled side of it, how can the team be better? What can I do to make it easier for the riders or for the crew guys? What can we do here? And so, yeah, it's definitely a lot when you're full-time 100% like that. But yeah, we'll see. I still got a lot of knowledge up here that I could put out there. So it's just sitting in there burning.
Right. Yeah. You gotta let the dogs out.
Yeah. But no, the moto stuff's pretty fun. I'm having a blast with that. Just keeps getting bigger. I'm surprised. I think when COVID hit, that was the only thing anyone could do.
Oh yeah.
God, man, I'd say these tracks. I went down to that big one in Texas, Springading. God, there were so many kids, and all the elite kids were there. So I was able to watch like a Jaden Smart and some of them. Holy smokes, are they fast? Wicked. At like 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So it was cool. It was really cool to see them numbers being way up. And the district stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have 2 races same weekend and have pretty good gates. So it's cool. It's fun to see.
Yeah, the younger generation is definitely coming up.
Yeah.
Definitely coming up. Well, is there anything else you want to kind of touch on, or?
I think we went over a lot of cool things.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a blast.
I'm gonna wrap it up and then.
Yeah. Until next time.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Thanks Jayme for being on here. If you guys like this podcast, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button. If you're watching on YouTube, like I said, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Jayme.